Episode 4 is my favorite episode of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the whatever episode.
Whatever.
But Ramona Rents a Video is also, it might be my second favorite of this entire show. Oh man, we are back again, Shoff. Another week, another episode. We're talking Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, episodes 3 and 4. And Shoff is about to take off because he just sipped something in his cup. What's it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Happy day. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yeah, I got my coffee. I got to have my coffee every morning. And moments I don't, bad news bears.
That's exactly how I am, Shoff, where in the morning, I need something to like pick me up.
Yeah.
So I like coffee, but I also like Magic Mind, which you and I have talked about Magic Mind before.
I've had that before. Yeah, I did. They did like I don't know, was it an 8-day, a 14-day? There was some sort of like try it out and like, you know, instead of coffee, like in the mornings, instead of like energy drinks, like Red Bulls and stuff, like try this and see how it works for you.
Yeah, because the whole thing was Red Bulls and Monsters. It's always like and even that 5-hour energy, there's like the jitters of something that feels like man-made almost. But what I like about Magic Mind is like there's no jitters because it's not like an excessive amount of caffeine. I want to say it's like 35 milligrams of caffeine, but no, like when I drink Magic Mind, I can do it with my coffee and there's no like crashes. There's no afternoon like, because when I go to work at night. I've been on the night shift lately, and I like being able to sustain myself throughout. So I like Magic Mind because it's like clean energy, clean ingredients, and it's all natural. So that's what I like about it. Basically.
That's interesting. You know, I didn't think about that with a night shift. That you would like. I just think you think coffee, you think the morning, right? Like that you think like whatever pick me up you need it like in the morning. But yeah, that other population of people that is working that graveyard shift or the night shift or whatever, like they need that boost even later in the day. So I'm glad that works for you.
Yeah, man, Shoff. And I may sound like I have a cold. I don't know what happened, but yesterday I started feeling I didn't feel weird, but I started sounding weird. And I was like, am I catching a cold? But I didn't have any symptoms, like no runny nose, no coughing or anything. So I don't know what it is, but if I sound like I have a cold, you do not adjust your headphones. You are correct. I don't know why my voice is all messed up, but I'm glad to be here with Shoff, my favorite boy to talk Scott Pilgrim about. We already talked episodes 1 and 2 about Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the anime. But Shoff, as we discussed on our last episode, is watching week to week, or 2 a week, I should say, because Netflix dropped the whole thing where you could binge it, which I did in a couple of days. But Shoff, we have now had a chance to watch, both of us, episodes 3 and 4, Ramona Rents a Video, and whatever. So right off the bat, Shoff.
I opened up my Netflix app and I flipped to Scott Pilgrim, and then I was like, whatever. You know, so, play on episode 4, and then I was like, whatever. I stayed through to the credits because, you know, I like the credits and I like, you know, supporting people and whatever.
I've been waiting, Shoff, to get to this episode because episode 4 is my favorite episode of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the whatever episode. But Ramona Rents a Video is also, it might be my second favorite of this entire show. So what did you think about these two, Shoff, 3 and 4?
Oh, so enjoyable. I purposely waited. I didn't want to watch them until much closer to our recording just so it would be fresh in my brain. So I watched Ramona Rents a Video 2 nights ago, and then, I'm sorry, maybe it was in the morning. I can't recall. I think it was 2 nights ago, and then I watched whatever last night, and gosh, this is some good TV.
Yeah.
And really surprising. Like the stories are really interesting, unique, which is wild that you can take material that has already been done theoretically twice, maybe even 3 times if you count a video game, right? Like There's already so many versions of it out there, but still this version feels completely fresh and completely original, and if anything is meta referencing other versions that are out there. So because Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life that is mentioned in episode 4 is the volume 1 of the graphic novels for Scott Pilgrim, but it's also a movie, which is in a sense acknowledging what it was post graphic novel. So it's just like, wow, how are they doing this? This is so fun.
Yes.
So fun.
I cannot wait until you get to the rest of the series, Shaw. But we're specifically focusing on episodes 3 and 4 in this episode. And I think I touched on it a little bit in the last episode where we were talking about how it expands upon the evil exes and you get to know them a lot more. So the first episode here, Ramona rents a video. We got more of Roxanne, or Roxy, and what was she like, and their whole relationship between Ramona and her, and also Knives and Stephen Stills kind of relationship. And you see a lot more in this episode where they're kind of creating something new, and you're going to continue to see that relationship blossom throughout the rest of the series.
I was getting a Knives and what's the drummer's name?
Oh, Kim Pine?
Kim, thank you. It seemed like those two were having the sparks, not Stephen Stills and Knives. Although Stephen was really impressed with Knives, just like natural bass ability
right,
that she was just feeling in the groove for. But this episode,
you think about the original interpretation. Knives only exists to just be lusting after Scott. Like, she's only there to be the not the love interest, but she's in love with Scott. Scott is in love with Ramona, and Knives is like the jealous girlfriend almost, or the jealous person who's been scorned. But her whole goal is to get Scott back the whole time. And she has another, there's giving her something else to do and rounding out her character. She's not just a one note, only thing is, I gotta get Scott. So that's what I like about all of these episodes is, like I said, they're fleshing these characters out and you're getting to know them a lot more. And like we said, Ramona's being the detective. She's trying to figure out, hey, what happened to Scott? And she's the one who cares about him. As you mentioned on the last episode, she's the only one that cares, even though she just had one date with him. His actual family and friends don't even care. Whatever, he's dead.
Yeah, right.
He's a bunch of coins. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of the fleshing out. What did you think about the whole video store thing with her? Ramona's talking to Kim a lot, and like I said, getting to know Kim more.
Yeah.
And you and I know her from Star Trek Picard.
Yeah.
Allison, is it?
Hill.
What's her last? Yes, Allison Bill. Yeah, she's a great actor, so I really like hearing her voice some more. What did you think about their relationship in this kind of the Kim Pine? Well, actually, just Kim Pine herself. Like, what do you think about her?
I always thought she was an interesting character, even in the movie. I really liked her. I liked just her deadpan, very uninvested personality.
Sorry, what was your name?
Kim.
Can you play the drums?
Yes.
She's just there to drum. Like, she's not really like their friends. I actually honestly forgot that she and Scott had previously dated, even though I know that they mentioned that in the movie, they mentioned that in the book, whatever else. But for whatever reason, it was such an afterthought for me that I was like, oh, whatever. But this episode had a lot of either budding romances or rekindling of romances.
Yeah. Or
bringing two people together that you didn't even know were previously together and me come back together again. The whole, is it Julie? Is that her name? The one who...
Aubrey Plaza's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks. This is the best day of my life. I'm killing myself tomorrow.
So her and Gideon Graves, when he was previously known as, was it Gordon
Goose?
Yeah, Gordon Goose.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I would change my name too. I would change my name.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of these moments where these other people are sort of getting together, and it reminded me a lot of like theater, like being in like the community theater scene. There's a lot of intermingling of relationships. Like everybody's dated other people. Like it's such a small like community, and so everyone sort of dated each other.
Yes.
That's what it feels like with all Scott's friends. Like Scott's pretty much dated every female that he's ever come across. And Ramona, the same thing. Like, so, which actually brings me to a question I have for you. Why do you think that all of these girls are attracted to Scott Pilgrim? Because he's, I mean, kind of a deadbeat, right? Like does he have a job? I don't think so.
No, he's just in a band.
Right. He's just in a band. He just wastes his time. I don't want to say being in a band is waste of time, but like they're not doing anything. Like he's not, when they jam, it's not like they have a bunch of songs or whatever. Like, so I'm just like, what is it about Scott that is so appealing? Because I kind of feel like I understand why Ramona is enticing, but then again, I think that's just, it's easier for me to grasp that.
Yeah.
But what do you think it is about Scott?
It has to be, and I haven't read into this, I haven't seen anything specifically on what the intent was, but it just has to be the physical attraction. The first time they're seeing him, like, oh, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, like Twilight, like, oh, he's amazing, like that guy, I must have him. But it's, oh, he's like the lovable loser, or like the boy next door kind of thing. I think he's just appealing to them, and they see something in him where they're just like, oh, I like that guy. Like he makes me feel comfortable, or he makes me feel good. But I think it's that first initial attraction, and then you see he's broken up with a lot of these women, and once they get to know him, maybe it's, oh, maybe he's not what I thought he was, everything that's cracked up to be. And I think a lot of high school relationships are like that. When you think about, there are certain people that they get married to their high school sweetheart and they stay together. But I think for the vast majority of people, vast majority of our population, you get to know somebody in high school and then you break up. And it's even throughout the course of high school, you maybe break up, get back together, break up, get back together. I know in my personal life, I had a similar situation of dating in high school, and then kind of the next date or the next relationship, and then you think about the last relationship, things like that. And then once you leave high school and you think about, oh yeah, maybe I just wasn't emotionally mature enough at that point to kind of understand the other person or even myself, and I wasn't there for them like I should have been. And that's what I really love about Scott Pilgrim in general, is examining the relationships that are taking place and my own life, thinking about, yeah, maybe I wasn't there for that person the way I should have been, and maybe I wasn't the person I thought I was at that time.
Wow. I didn't think we were going to get deep like that.
Scott Pilgrim.
Do you think you have any evil exes?
Well, it's funny.
Are they plotting your demise right now? Like watching this podcast episode on YouTube, and they're like,
I think at this, my heart. There definitely was in high school, but I think at this point, at this stage of my life, they've all moved on and forgotten about that. Now they're all of my previous relationships have spouses, they have children now. So looking back on it, I'm in my 40s now. Looking back at high school, it's interesting, thinking about the person that I was in high school versus the person I am at 40 now as a father and as a husband. Where I'm at, I really like where I am right now. Like I like the path that I have taken down, I've gone down, and every relationship has been a building block and just something that I can learn from and say, oh, maybe this is something I can take into the next relationship as it goes into my current, I am now with my spouse, with my wife, taking all the learning moments from my previous ones and then applying it to my current spouse. So That's what, like I said, I like examining this stuff. I like thinking about it through the lens of Scott Pilgrim. And you bring up a great point of like, what did people see in Scott? And I don't know if I've been thinking about this show so much and about this property. I can't remember if I was talking to you, if I was talking to somebody else. Did I talk to you about...
There's someone else?
Did I talk to you about thinking about Scott almost the way that these women are? Man, why did I like Scott Pilgrim when I was first introduced to him? And what was it about him as a personality? Because now that I think about it, he is kind of toxic to a lot of these people, a lot of these women. And initially I was like, oh, he's the cool guy. Like I can kind of see myself in Scott. And now looking back on it, I'm like, man, Scott was kind of a jerk to a lot of...
He kind of just does what feels good. Like he just seeks out whatever is the fun thing in that moment and skirts responsibility, any kind of sense of obligation, is not a contributor to society in a positive way. Like he doesn't have a whole lot of... He's just kind of like a lovable idiot, I think. And I think that level of charisma only gets you so far.
It is good
Yeah.
that he grows from it. It's not like we're saying, yeah, he sucks at the beginning and he sucks at the end too. It's like he goes from one place at the beginning to at the end. Scott earned the power of love. And you see the flaming...
Right.
Like
Scott earned the power of love.
he actually grows throughout his journey. It's like, if you look at this as an RPG, he's getting XP along the way. He's learning, he's leveling up. And then at the end, he is a different person. And I'm not going to spoil anything about the end of this show, but the end of the books, the end of the movie, Scott Pilgrim definitely has a growth. And I like that. It's in here as well, but you'll see it in a different way.
Well, I'm glad for that, because that means he's not just like Pete Davidson.
Good one.
He just happens to have...
That's a great real life analogy. Right. How does he keep getting these beautiful women?
You keep getting away with it.
You can't keep getting away with it. You can't keep getting away with it.
But yeah, another thing before we move on to whatever, because like I said, that is my favorite episode. I do want to give a shout out to the different movies that they kind of go through, the different genres in this video store. You know, they kind of go into the movies themselves. There's some fun things where they play with the pause, but Kim pauses it and he winds it and things like that. So there's a lot of fun movie elements to this. And I used to work, as you know, Shop, I used to work in a video store at Hollywood Video when I was in college.
I wish I worked with you there. Man, that would have been so fun.
It was a great time of being able to put movies on that you loved, being able to share them with customers that maybe they did not know. We used to have a video picks, pick of the week. And then I would put mine were all superhero movies. I did that specifically. I would line up. All right. Now this dates me, but this shows you it's like, all right, there's the Ang Lee Hulk movie. There's the Punisher movie with John Travolta. There's like, I was lining up even the movies I didn't think were that great. I was like, oh, it's a superhero movie. And I want people to know that I'm the superhero guy. So if you need recommendations about superhero stuff, you come to me. But if Scott Pilgrim was out, Shaw, that I would have put Scott Pilgrim versus the World up there on my list. But sometimes I'd put Back to the Future on there, change it up a couple of times. But working in a video store, I had so many great memories of the box art for movies. It's like, I never saw that movie, but I remember the box art because I used to put it back on the shelf when people would rent it. So those were some good times. And I liked kind of revisiting that in this episode 3, Ramona rents a video.
Yeah, it's in Oregon is the only remaining Blockbuster, Bend, Oregon.
Yes.
And it's about maybe 3.5 hours away from us. And I am like, one of these days, I'm going to make a day trip down to Bend because I've got to get back to a Blockbuster before that place closes. That's actually amazing.
I don't know if it's on Netflix. I'm going to look at this in a second.
Oh, I've seen it. You're talking about...
Yeah, the last Blockbuster documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a fun time.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And also hearing like Jamie Kennedy's like experience, and they had a bunch of interviews from a lot of like funny people like Ron Funches. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
who plays King Shark on the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah.
It's actually not on Netflix, but this is where it is, Shoff. Fubo TV, Tubi, the Roku channel, Crackle, Plex. Even on YouTube, if you just search Last Blockbuster, somebody has uploaded the entire movie. So that's an interesting documentary to check out.
But the quick final takeaways on episode 3. I thought it was really funny that young Neil was a screenwriter. And had no experience whatsoever. And you could tell
that's not in the movie at all.
No, not at all. Yeah. And then he just goes to sleep and he wakes up and sees somebody's typing on a screen and it turns out to be a Scott Pilgrim movie. I'm not sure who the person is, but I mean, I have theories on that, but I'm not even going to get into it.
I'm not going to spoil that, but you do find out.
Yeah. Teen Scott, and played during a flashback, is played by Finn Wolfhard, which is funny.
Yes.
Man, that kid does so much, and he also is a gawky, weird teenager dude. And again, I mean, he's a talented guy, no joke. He's very talented, but he's an awkward looking dude, very much in the Michael Cera awkwardness. So,
and he's a huge Scott Pilgrim fan.
Oh, is he? Okay.
There's pictures of him online wearing Scott Pilgrim stuff, and it was even before Stranger Things or right at the start of Stranger Things. So yeah, it was cool to hear him get to do something in the Scott Pilgrim universe.
So then after I finished episode 3, I decided to watch episode 4. And it was whatever.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on that, because as I was watching the opening, I was like, "What is this?" For episode 4, whatever.
Had you heard that song before?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember if it was on Beavis and Butthead. There was a lot of songs that I got introduced to by Beavis and Butthead. That might have been one of those ones where they would watch music videos and make fun of them. But yeah, I remember that song as kind of like a pop culture thing at the moment.
I feel like it was in a commercial, and I can't remember what, but I feel like there's I just remember kids running.
I'm sure it was.
As if it was just total anarchy. Kids running around, just pure chaos. I don't remember what it was for, but maybe in circle back next episode, next week, maybe I'll have that figured out. But I love that intro. I thought that was a lot of fun. The animation of this particular episode really stood out to me because there was a lot of moments where it sort of defied the laws of what is typically hand-drawn animation, of the perspective shifts during the skateboarding, and whether that be side profile or moving the camera as it it's a really moving the camera, not the person, not the character, but they're it created an interesting depth for a two-dimensional type thing. Really, really, really found that very interesting, very enjoyable to watch. And the character Lucas Lee has always been a fun, interesting character. I love Chris Evans' portrayal of Lucas Lee.
Whatever.
And it's great that we get more time, because we really didn't get much time with Lucas in the movie. He was there and gone in the same scene. It was very quick. He even pokes fun at that whole moment because of the way the script is written, that he... Well, it's funny because he's playing... So Lucas Lee ends up playing Scott Pilgrim, and then somebody else who we don't get to see is going to be playing Lucas Lee, and he gets killed right away. But, oh my gosh. Real quick question. This is not really related to the plot, but I wanted to get your take on this. We've had 4 episodes so far. Ramona's hair has changed in every single one. Do you have a favorite so far of her hair colors?
Man, I don't have a favorite. I like every time they change it up and they play the same animation, but they just switch the colors.
Yeah.
And that is right from the books. And one of my favorite jokes from the comic books is the original comic is in black and white, and she's changing her hair color. And there's a little thing that says, this book is in black and white. She's changing her hair color, but you can't tell because there's no color in this book. And then when they did the color editions, which you got the color edition.
Yeah,
right?
I wanted the color ones. Yeah.
In the color edition, it's this joke was funnier in the black and white version. So they've always been, Brian Lee O'Malley's always been playing with that. So I like, anytime I see Ramona changing her hair color, I just think about that joke. But yeah, I didn't have a specific favorite one.
I think mine is the green, light green from this episode. I
Nice.
like that. Yeah, that was working for me. Working for me. By the way, PSA for those that didn't check last week's episode, I'm wearing the same shirt, but it doesn't say sex. It doesn't just say sex. It doesn't just say sex Bob, because that would be really weird. It says sex Bob. But the B on the end is silent, right? For bomb, right?
Yes.
So just want to put that out there.
I'm wearing my wife's favorite joke from the comic and in the movie. Do you know the girl with the hair like this?
You know this one girl with hair like this?
Such a terrible drawing.
Yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
It looks more like an ice cream cone or something.
Yeah, right.
A bunch of melting ice cream.
Which that might be like getting to know Scott. One of the things that maybe that's what these girls are attracted to is just he's funny. He's not intentionally funny. He's serious. Like he's going through his life and thinking everything is serious. But the things that he does are funny, and that's just Brian Lee O'Malley's sense of humor. But maybe that's what it is about Scott. The sense of humor is a big draw for women, Shoff. Here's a tip, Shoff, little pro tip for our viewers and our listeners. If you can make a woman laugh, that's the key to her heart. And that's always what I tried to do when I was in high school, was make my friends laugh and make my significant others laugh. So now that's what I do for my wife.
I wish I was funny.
You are, Shoff. You are funny looking, okay? Shoff always makes me laugh with a lot of his innuendos. That's what Shoff is famous for.
Yeah.
But
that was a good Vactor tip. Just the tip of Vactor, just to see how it feels, and it felt good.
Hey, that's it, Shoff. That's the Shoff
It
magic.
felt
Right?
good.
That's what we love about Shoff.
Let's see what else. Oh, I love that Wallace Wells was playing himself. Eventually, I mean, everybody else was playing him, but he wasn't playing him gay enough.
more Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, I love when the actor who's portraying Wallace is like, "How was that? Was I gay enough?"
Hey, how was that? Gay enough? Any notes?
Laugh.
I think this episode is where I started to kind of realize, they are fleshing out all of the evil exes to the point where you actually care about them. Because in the book and in the movie, the only reason I cared about Lucas Lee was because it was Chris Evans. I like Chris Evans. But in this, I'm like, I like Lucas Lee as a character now. And as, like we said in the last episode, not just a mustache twirling villain. There's degrees of black and white here, or shades of gray, I should say. And this is the episode, I think the whatever episode is where I really started to piece it together and fall in love with these characters. And I want them to be successful. I don't want Lucas to find a girl. I want him to find somebody. And that is a standout moment to me in this whole series, was the whatever episode, kind of making me feel for these characters. So I think that's why it ended up being my favorite of the whole bunch here, Shoff. So
yeah, no, I think so too. I love the news anchor moment. So there's a part where so Lucas has been sort of like canoodling in his trailer with one of the cast members, and they don't initially say who it is. And I don't know why, but I thought, just my immediate thought was, he's banging the actress who's playing Envy Adams. He's banging Envy Adams, who's playing Ramona Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed that was going to be what it was. But it ended up being more in line with what Scott would do, which is he was going for Knives Chow. So it was the actress playing Knives Chow. But that got the attention of the news because she's an actress playing a high schooler, as if that's like off limits. Like she's of age, but she's playing an underage, and that's not cool if you're an actor dating another actor who's playing a character younger than
Shoff's the dude playing the dude disguised as the other dude.
And one of the anchor people says, "That's actually hilarious."
That's actually hilarious.
He said it. He said it.
Yes.
Yeah.
the amazing line from the movie, which was
hilarious.
I don't know if that was an ad lib by Chris Evans or if
think
that
it
was
was.
in this.
Yeah, I think
Oh
it was.
man, because that is not a specific joke from the comic. That is a movie original, which now has become like iconic, I think, amongst the Scott Pilgrim fans. So yeah, that was great. Little shout out to us fans, Shaw. Man, I just loved, like you said, the animation of this episode, the perspective changes, and there's even like the skateboard action scene where he's fighting off paparazzi.
That was great.
There's just a ton of stuff to love about this whatever episode.
Well, it's so cool that every episode still has a fight. It's not the fight that you expect,
right.
but they still have a fight, and it's the episode 3 was really awesome with
the video
Roxy versus Ramona, and then you've got this one with Lucas versus the paparazzi, and the paparazzi are like ninjas. Like, it was just fantastic.
Kind of makes me want to play this as a video game.
Yes,
that would be great. Maybe if we can get enough support, Shaw, there'll be another video game, and it'll be this. I would love that.
That would be great. Couple of quick shout outs to the studio security guards played by Pegg and Nick Frost, who I'm sure you were just like eating that up.
Yes.
Did you recognize their voices right away, or was it something you had to wait till the credits?
I recognized them right away, and they're kind of playing their characters from Hot Fuzz a little bit, but I loved both of those guys, and they are tied to Edgar Wright, who directed the movie, and it was kind of a great shout out and Easter egg to have them in this. I also met them in real life, Shaw, as I told you, when they were promoting that movie Paul with Seth Rogen, the alien movie.
Right.
And I was lucky enough to have a kind of press pass, and I did an interview for them when I was doing a podcast back then. But both of those guys, I can't say how great they were. To me, the nicest guys, like so down to earth and genuine, real people. So I love both of those guys, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. When I heard their voices, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I figured you'd be thrilled about that. Absolutely. And then so this show is off the wall bonkers. Like, I love it.
Well, yeah.
Anything goes. Like, it really is like anything goes. There's no true rules. But there was one thing in this episode that I was like, oh, what? What just happened? So Ramona leaves the film studio, and hiding in her backpack.
You know, that is crazy. That is the exact scene that I was looking at just now as I was kind of doing a little recap. Yeah. But right when you said anything goes, and it's Lucas Lee's head popping out of the bag.
I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? This show is like, I will accept a body theoretically dying and being replaced by coins. Like that, I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to accept that a fight takes place in a movie store and they end up in the movies and they can physically be paused, rewound, all of that. I fully accept a skateboard fight taking place in the sky with kung fu moves. That's fine. But the moment you put a huge burly man into a backpack and then just have his head pop out, and that's how they escaped that, I'm like, what is going on? This is off the rails. So that was like the one thing I was like, yeah, my suspension of disbelief is gone. It's officially gone.
That is amazing. And that's what is so great about both comic books and animation, is kind of the wild and crazy things. You don't always get that from live action, but in most animation and comic books, like there's that suspension of disbelief and you kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
And this show like holds no punches. This is fantastic. So yeah, I love that shot. But right as you were saying that, I was coming up on that scene on Netflix. That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. I'm curious, Shaw, what our listeners, if you're listening on your favorite podcast player, or what our viewers on YouTube were thinking of these two episodes, Ramona Rents a Video and Whatever. Did you guys have a favorite episode? And did you have a favorite moment from these episodes? This is some fantastic stuff, Shaw. Anything left on your notes, Shaw?
That takes care of it. I really, really enjoy these episodes. And this is the halfway point of the season. We have 2 more episodes where we'll talk about 5 and 6 and then 7 and 8, and I am very much looking forward to it. I'm a little bit bummed because, I mean, I don't know where this story goes. They could theoretically continue it, and I kind of hope that there is a second season, but even if there isn't, I'll be thrilled that we got this because it's been really, really nice to revisit these characters.
Yes, and it's been really nice talking with Shoff about Scott Pilgrim. Really nice to have your thoughts and perspectives, Shoff. So thank you for joining me,
Thanks.
as always. And I'd like to thank you, the listener, the viewers, for watching. If you would be so kind, like I said, leave a comment down below with your thoughts, because we always want to share and talk and build a nice community here in the Vactor-Verse. But also, if you're on YouTube, right next to the like button, there's a little super thanks that you can give, a little donation to help us here in the Vactor-Verse. Like I said, in creating a better show for you, I like upgrading my equipment. I like being able to talk about these comic books and movies and TV shows, but anything helps here in the Vactor-Verse. So always thank you very much. Even if you just share it with your friends and family, if they like Scott Pilgrim or if they like the animation and the comic books, share it with them, and then that helps us out here in the Vactor-Verse. Next week, Shoff, we're going to be talking 5 and 6 of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, so you're not going to want to miss it, but I'm having a great time, and I'm going to do what I always do and put Shoff on the spot for saying goodbye to us. Shoff, what do you have to say to this?
Okay, so Vactor and I love Scott Pilgrim, and you should
Whatever.